Hey there, you me and DC fans, and welcome if you are new. I am the stepson of Krypton,
And I'm Mantis.
and today, public service announcement. We are talking about stroking it to death, and obviously by that we mean Deathstroke, and the announcements recently made by James Gunn slash maybe a wink that he did in regards to a question he was asked about it. So, Mantis, are you excited for this one?
Let's get into it because I can't wait to hear exactly what exactly he said.
Did he say something? I don't know. We'll find out. Let's go. All right, guys. So recently, James Gunn was asked about the character Deathstroke and if he had plans for them entering the DCU. And he was told that if he had plans, give a wink, which he did. So obviously, even if he winks, there's going to be a lot of rumors surrounding it. However, we do know that Deathstroke is a very, very popular character. We got to see him briefly in some end scenes and post credit scenes in the DCEU.
He and his odd little friends are forming some sort of league.
You better not be wasting my time.
Played by Joe Manganiello.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's how you say his last name. I'm gonna do my best to start pronouncing names, and if I get them wrong, fucking roast me in the comments. I don't care. I'm trying. I'm trying, guys. But we did get to see him play Deathstroke, which I thought he did a great job, as well as John Manu Bennett, who plays Slade Wilson Deathstroke in the Arrow series for predominantly season 2.
Hello, Sarah. Don't forget who taught you how to fight, kid.
Which also I thought he did a great job so far. Everybody who's played the character has done great.
I like him. Yeah, I
In
like
Arrow?
him as an Arrow. Yeah, I like his portrayal of Slade Wilson. I think he did a really good job as Slade Wilson. So
Real quickly, like not to get off on a tangent, but that's what we do here. And we've been better about it, by the way. Arrow season 1 is great because it's a great foundation and his training and all the him killing. But season 2 with Slade Wilson with Deathstroke was my favorite of the Arrow series. So, and he was great in that. I thought Joe Manganiello, I thought he would actually play a great Slade Wilson. Almost
yeah,
said Wade Wilson. Slade Wilson.
different superhero there. Yeah.
But everybody's wanted to see it for a very, very long time. We were upset that when we found out that he wasn't going to be like the DCEU wasn't going to be happening, and we were losing Deathstroke, and we're like, this close, right?
So close. Yeah, they had a movie planned out and everything. I think Manganello. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm bad with names as well.
He is, and
But I
Magic
think
Mike is like his favorite movie, so I don't know why he doesn't know this guy's name.
I know. That doesn't mean I can pronounce their names. Okay, but he did share some plot details of that project back in April of a couple of years ago. That was gonna happen. And then I think I'm pretty sure there was some talk of him being in the Batman movie as well.
Back in what was it, February? Let's just call him Joe, right? You should know by now. We've already butchered his name a couple times. You should know. So Joe, when he was asked about the project, he said, him and James Gunn, they're buddies, right? And so they were talking about it. There was this whole graphic novel written behind the character that he was going to portray. There's all of this going on, and basically James Gunn told him to let it go. He's got to move on. Now, here's the thing. Now, we did get very brief glimpses of him, but if you're staying true to rebooting a universe, that means he's got to go as well. Otherwise, there's going to be tiebacks to the DCEU, which he's not wanting. So Peacemaker fell into that little realm of like they're in that in between time. I still we've discussed that. We've done another video. I'll link that, or I'll have that popping up here at the bottom of the screen where we kind of discuss that on there. So we won't get into that. But you're rebooting, so I feel like James Gunn, if they're on that kind of a level, telling him to let it go, lets them know that hey, like that's done, that's over,
Then it's done.
But he does want to bring Deathstroke
character
into this realm, which is still odd because when you think about it, okay, so you think about DC's or the DCEU's biggest success stories, right? And we think about Batman and like some of those villains. We have gotten no information or virtually no information. I say in comparison to the loads of everything else on who he thinks is going to be a Batman, who anything about an Aquaman or a Wonder Woman at this point, right? We've got nothing from it. And Aquaman and Wonder Woman were your biggest successes in the DCEU.
Yeah, and I don't know. This is definitely going on a tangent here, but maybe it's kind of in the same vein of this, where he doesn't really have an idea, or maybe he has an idea. Okay, he has to have an idea who he envisions a couple of different people to play the character, right? But maybe he doesn't know specifically what he's going to do with those characters yet, and when they will be introduced. Obviously, if he's gonna put Deathstroke in the DCU, but it's going to be 8 years from now, there's no sense in tweeting out, "Oh, well, I'm thinking about this person. Does that work?" He's not going to do that, right? Like, he probably has someone in his mind. He's just not going to say it. There's no sense in him letting that out the bag until he gets to talk to the actor or and to see if that is even something they want to do. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, at least that's the way I would play it.
Well, and obviously we got to see him with Arrow, which a lot of people will say, and it's true. Arrow was kind of like their version of Batman. Them trying to bring I guess a more adaptable to a TV show with the CW type budget of a Batman, because you think about Ra's al Ghul shows up in Arrow, which is a Batman thing. A lot of the things,
dude. There are so many characters in that fucking show that you're just like, how do all these superheroes meet in the same city? How does this happen? There's no way like this would ever happen. Like, it makes no sense. Like, oh, John Diggle just happens to be Jon Stewart. Like, come on, man. Like, I mean, I get it's kind of funny and cool, whatever, but it's just, I don't know. Once you add like the 20th superhero to the series, and then you also have to bring them all back from the dead at least twice, it's just it gets kind of, I don't know, it becomes a meme. You know what I mean?
Deathstroke has always been known as more of a Batman. I don't want to say villain, but the enemy of Batman. He's always battling Batman, right? So you wouldn't do a Deathstroke movie, right? If you haven't announced Batman yet, you're not going to announce Deathstroke, right? Yeah. Now, we did mention would be cool to see is that, because obviously for everybody who knows Slade Wilson, he starts out as a good guy, as so many bad guys do. He's a soldier.
Classic Dark Knight line, man. It's the classic Dark Knight line.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself owned by Disney.
Yeah.
So
fuck baby, did put a chicken in, make her gay.
He starts out as a good guy, so maybe we talked about like actually seeing from their perspective of like the origin story, right? That would be cool. And then similar to how the MCU did it, you started with Iron Man at the time, as much as people like to deny it now. Like, he wasn't well known by a lot of mainstream people who weren't comic book nerds.
The normies didn't know.
Well, we call you normies.
Yeah, the normies didn't know. I don't care what you fucking say. It's true. Okay, go back to 2008 if you remember that far back. It wasn't true. So it would be kind of cool, but yeah, he's not going to announce that. We don't even know who a Batman, even a candidate for Batman could be. Not going to announce a Deathstroke, but I do love that he's at least wanting to bring the character into the DCU, right? Because, when we talk about, obviously, everything with Superman and all of this, if you're going to introduce, if Batman and Superman are going to be in the same movie or within the same kind of a series thing together, you got to have villains that are going to challenge Batman, but not Superman. And Deathstroke is a great one for that, because they're both very, very skilled fighters. Deathstroke obviously he's super soldier formula. He has heightened abilities. So he puts up a great fight for Batman, but because of his more heightened abilities with similar like Captain America style super soldier formula, it might need another hero other than just Batman, right? It could warrant it at some point in time, or it could be a point where Batman maybe loses one and then it's got to have a little bit of a redemption, Rocky 3 style.
Yeah, and I agree, I really agree with your point of not having a movie. You're not going to announce Deathstroke without Batman. You're not going to have a Deathstroke movie. The only other villain that they've done that with, obviously, is Joker, and he's the only one that I think they could pull off that's villain-owned movie. Technically, that movie had Bruce Wayne in it, but he was a kid, so whatever. But the point still stands. You can't make a standalone Deathstroke movie. It just wouldn't work. I don't think. Not for the normies. It wouldn't work. Your diehard comic book fans would know, and it would just depend on if it was any good. So I don't think he's going to go that route with it. I think you're right. I think he's going to be a villain. He's going to be a Batman villain. And they haven't announced that movie yet, or casting, or anything for it yet. So I wouldn't look for this anytime soon. Obviously,
it's one of those that like we just did a video on it because it kind of put the nail in the coffin. And actually in February when Joe had actually said this, where he said, James Gunn told him it was done, but it kind of put the nail in the coffin that yes, he has an idea for Deathstroke to come into the DCU, but like what we've previously seen is done. Like, again, there isn't even a hope of like, oh yeah, sure, maybe we'll bring back, he was only in this little end credit scene and post credit scene. It's so, as much as I thought he'd do great, Joe, we're sorry to see you go, but out with the old and in with the new, right? There's nothing we can do. I'm not going to, this channel, he's not going to watch a You, Me, and DC episode and be like, oh my God, they're right. I need to keep him as Deathstroke.
And again, it's not like he had any line, like he had like 2 lines or something in the end of the end credit scene, right? Like, it's not like he put on a 3-movie performance and, we have to keep him as Deathstroke because he was so good. No, like he didn't even do anything. Like it doesn't matter. He looked
the part though, right? Especially they aged, they made him age a little bit. He looks great as Deathstroke, and that's really it. And when I say that's what fans are going on about, right? He looked great as Deathstroke. We didn't see him act as Deathstroke at all, but fans thought he looked the part, and that goes too. It's realistic. We judge books by their covers, their comic book covers, so to speak, in these like, do you look the part of the character you're getting ready to play? And he fit the bill pretty perfectly, and he's actually in really, really good shape. So he fits the bill perfectly. Is the next person going to do that, right? Because that's what you're going to compare him to. You're going to see the first image. We're going to get one still frame of what the Deathstroke's going to look like, and people are going to lose their shit like they did the Superman suit, right? We're going to bring that into probably every video for at least the next little while. Deal with it.
It's actually funny. Yeah, it's funny. I don't. Yeah. Final thoughts on this one again. I think it's funny that we kind of keep going back to this trope of James Gunn having to debunk every single rumor and thing
it's only 1 out of 100.
I mean, and again, he likes to just kind of poke fun at these things.
To be fair, he only winked on this one.
I know, and I'm here for it. Like, I'm here for it. Like, he's not dumb. Like, he knows what he's doing, and that's cool. That's fine. And again, he's not lying. That could mean anything. That wink could mean anything. It could be next week we get announcements of he's actually doing another series or anime. Who knows? We don't know. But I like James Gunn just playing with the fans on this type of stuff. So it drums up, support and interest with a new budding universe, the DCU, that there's really nothing out for right now. So this is kind of all you got. Like, he's kind of fulfilling that hype man thing, in the social media space. So, and it's, driving people to make videos. They're writing articles about it. It's what happens. 'Cause when there's no movie to talk about or no film to watch, this is what you do. And he's not dumb. He knows what he's doing. So.
Well, it's given us some content, right? So, like, we get to make off of everybody's knee-jerk reactions and flip outs and all of that. I'm just the biggest takeaway for me on this is glad that he is interested in the idea of bringing Deathstroke into the DCU. Similar to, there's been some articles we're not going to get into with Arrow, because we never saw Arrow in a big screen movie, right? So it'd be cool to see some of these people actually finally make their big screen debuts. I'm not counting that little brief scene with Joe at the end. but we'll just have to wait and see. I think you're spot on that we're a ways away from finding out if who's going to be Deathstroke and what that's going to entail. He's got too many other irons in the fire right now, right? That's why you got to fucking wink, is because he's just like, yeah, like, all right, but he's
and the idea he has for the character or for the film, whatever it is, because like I said, he's got one. Whatever that is, may be still kind of influenced. It probably is going to be still influenced on how successful or not successful the first couple of products that comes out for the DCU, right? Like
what works and what doesn't, right?
Right. And he'd be dumb to go ahead and put all that other stuff in stone before he figures out if this is going to work. That's just my opinion.
So, especially given where he's coming from, because he's coming from a failed universe and now just having to reboot it. Whereas, like when the MCU started, it was a new thing, right? It was the first, boom, we're starting this. We got this big plan. He is like literally having to come from a failed universe. Like they ended the 6th Cosmos, we're starting 7th Cosmos, new universe basically created. So we'll have to wait and see. And as soon as we know, we will let you know. But if you have made it with us this far, and we do appreciate it, consider giving this video a like. He's going to show you where. All right. Subscribing to the channel. And that's all I'm going to say on that one. I'll let you do the other part.
Yeah. We'd like to hear from you. Put your comments down below. Do you think he's got something up his sleeve already? Or is he just playing with fans? Is he just kind of BSing? Either or, I think it's a good talking point. Let us know what you think in the comments.
Fans?
He could be stroking.
He could be
doing Deathstroke. Yeah. The autoerotic
white knuckle grip.
Yeah. Yeah. Let us know what you think down below.
Let him know. I'm kind of done with you guys at this point for a little bit. Sorry.
Yes.
Say in the comments, Mantis.
Yes.
All right.
Exactly.
All right, guys. That's going to wrap it up. We will catch you on the next one.
Later.